friends, welcome to Meals with Maria. Today we're making snacks from scratch. There's no better way to save money than to ditch those packaged grocery store snacks and make your own at home. So we're gonna make some granola bars, those good chewy ones that the kids love. We're gonna make some energy balls because you can't even really get those at the grocery store, but they are a nutrient-dense, calorie-dense food that will get your kids through the day or you through the day. You ever need that like afternoon pick-me-up? And they are cheap. Also gonna make some porridge fingers for our friend Ben here because he does baby-led weaning and he can't really have sugar, but these are a great sugar-free alternative and cheaper than buying baby food. And we're also gonna do a homemade granola because buying that stuff at the store is highway robbery. It is cheap to buy your own oats, get a little bit of honey or maple syrup, and you are ready to go. Whatever nuts are on sale or extra add-ins that you have, make a fantastic, fabulous granola that goes well over any yogurt. So let's get to saving some money. We're going to start off by making some homemade granola. Like I said, this stuff is expensive at the store and they try and make it all fancy with this and that added to it. But the truth is you have most of that stuff in your cabinet at home anyway. And this is super easy to make. You want to start with 4 cups of old-fashioned rolled oats. To that, add 1.5 cups of nuts or seeds. I happen to have some pecans hanging around, but I think that some pumpkin seeds or pepitas or even some sunflower seeds, cashews, whatever you have, whatever you like, add that in, whatever's cheap. Then you want to add in 1 teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And I always say with cinnamon, add as much as you like because it's delicious and you're never going to go wrong. You want to mix all of your dry ingredients together until they're well incorporated. To the mixture, add a 1/2 cup of either melted coconut oil or olive oil. I happen to be using olive oil. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and a 1/2 cup of either maple syrup or honey, and I happen to be using honey today. My helper Julian is going to help us mix this today, and then I'm going to place it on a baking sheet with parchment paper and cook it in an oven at 350 degrees for 21 to 24 minutes. I ended up doing mine for a full 24 minutes, and I think if I were going to do it again, I might do it closer to the 22-minute mark because it was just a little bit crunchy, but it tasted delicious. It was honestly awesome. You want to wait for your granola to fully cool about 45 minutes. Then at this point, you can add either 2/3 a cup of dried fruit or maybe some chocolate chips or some dried coconut. I actually didn't have any of those things on hand this particular day, and I was just going to go with a simple granola, so I didn't add anything. But once everything's cool and all mixed together, you just want to break everything up, and then you can either store it in a Ziploc bag or in a canister like I am. I thought this was amazing because this is based on stuff that I already had in my own cabinet. I didn't have to spend any extra money, and I got a huge canister of granola to put over my yogurt. For this next recipe, Julian's going to help us make some no-bake energy balls. I'm going to double the recipe today because you can actually freeze these and they last a while, and I've heard they actually taste delicious straight out of the freezer, which I need to try this time. But I want to make a bunch of them, so I'm using 2 cups of rolled oats, about 1 cup of dried craisins and raisins. I'm using just kind of the last bits of what I had in my cabinet. You could also use chocolate chips if your kids are chocolate lovers, but my 6-year-old does not like chocolate, so I'm going to be using those dried fruits instead. Then I'm adding 1 cup of flaxseed. Make sure that if you do have ground flaxseed that you keep that in the refrigerator because that actually can go rancid, and I didn't know that for a while, so happy to keep it in the refrigerator now. Now I'm spraying the inside of my cup measure with some olive oil spray because if you need to use something sticky in a cup measure, that is an awesome trick. It makes sure that those things do not stick. So we're going to use that to add 1 cup of sun butter because we have an allergy in our house, but if you want to use peanut butter or almond butter or whatever your favorite nut butter is, go ahead and do that. I did the same thing with my cup measure for our honey and added 2/3 a cup of honey. Finish it off with about 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract and mix well until everything is really well combined. Once everything is well mixed, I've lined a baking sheet with parchment paper, and I'm just using a tablespoon cookie scoop to make balls that are all similar size. I'm going to pop that baking sheet in the freezer and let it set for about an hour. And then you can either freeze these or you can put them in the fridge. I personally give my kids a couple of these before karate when they go to karate class, and it keeps their energy up for the whole thing. I believe this next recipe is an English recipe because it's called Porridge Fingers, and I think here in the US we would call it baked oatmeal. And then everything is in grams, so I actually did weigh out all of my ingredients, but I tried to use a cup measure to kind of figure out exactly how much of everything you would need. So you need 160 grams of oats, which ends up being about a cup, maybe a little more. Then you want to add about a teaspoon of cinnamon. We always go heavy on the cinnamon in this house because it's delicious. Then you want to add 60 grams or about 1/3 cup of flaxseed, 2 ripe bananas, and I'm just using bananas from my freezer, 150 grams of peanut butter, or in my case I'm using sun butter, and that's about a little bit less than a cup. It was like the perfect amount what I had left in this container of sun butter. And you want 170 grams or a little over a cup of berries, and I'm using frozen blueberries. I have tried this recipe before with different frozen fruits. I used frozen blackberries. All of them have worked out really well. I think I personally like using the frozen ones so that they don't get too mushed up when I'm mixing the bars. I also want to add about 85 milliliters of milk, which ends up being about 1/3 of a cup. Now, wasn't that fun working with conversions? You just want to mix everything really well, and then I'm going to put it in the bottom of an 8x8 pan on top of some parchment paper, and we're going to bake this at about 350 degrees for 20 minutes. It comes out awesome. It's a nice, soft, baked oatmeal. It tastes delicious to me, but it doesn't have any added sugar, which is really nice. I've tried to get the older boys to eat it, but I feel like they kind of know there's not added sugar, so they're not big fans. But the baby absolutely loves it, and it's super easy to make. Now, I know I hooked you guys on that 32% savings on that thumbnail. This is where we're going to see that. This is our Chewy chocolate chip granola bars that end up being 32% cheaper than store-bought Chewy chocolate chip granola bars. They are so great, and they are all ingredients that we know, right? I know exactly what I added to these. There's nothing funky in them. There's no this and that I can't even pronounce. I'm going to make 2 types of granola bars, so I'm going to be working in 2 bowls. I just added 2 cups of quick oats to each one and 1 cup of crispy rice cereal. I'm going to make a chocolate chip granola bar as well as a cinnamon raisin. Since I'm doubling the recipe, I'm going to add 1/2 cup of butter, 1/2 cup of honey, and 2/3 a cup of packed brown sugar. I'm going to cook that over medium-high heat until it comes to a bubble. And then you want to reduce the heat and cook it for another 2 minutes until all the sugar dissolves. Pour in 1 teaspoon of vanilla and stir. I am just going to quickly add some cinnamon to the mixture. I'm going to do the cinnamon raisin granola bars in, and I don't really know how much that was, just a nice big sprinkle of it. And then you want to pour your mixture over your dry ingredients. Make sure everything is well covered and well mixed, and then you want to pour it into I'm using another 8x8 pan with some parchment paper, and then also a cookie sheet with some parchment paper. You want to make sure that your bars are about 3/4 of an inch thick. And then you can take some chocolate chips for one and some raisins for another. You want to use about 2 tablespoons, and then just press those over the top of your bars. And then you want to let those bars sit for 2 hours at room temperature, and then you can cut them into bars. Now, when I say 32%, I did a price check. I went through every single ingredient in the chocolate chip bars, and I figured out that the total cost for 10 chocolate chip bars is $1.68, and for 12 it would be $2.02. And at Walmart, the 12 pack of the Quaker chocolate chip bars is $2.98. And so you save 32% making your own bars at home, and you also have all of the ingredients that you know that you put in there and nothing funky. So I absolutely love that. I really hope this video inspires you to make your snacks at home and save some money. If you're into saving money and making your own food from scratch, I encourage you to watch this video I'm going to put up at the end that is make your own condiments, mayonnaise, and salad dressing. This is another great way to save a few bucks. I want to thank you all so much for watching today. If you haven't already, give this video a like and make sure to subscribe to my channel. I'm posting 3 times a week, so make sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything, and I will see you all very soon. Go ahead and watch that video right now.
I've been waiting all my life for someone like you. I would watch the days go by, wasted and blue. I was out of you.